industry. So that's a little bit about me. Along with me, we have Madhu from ITC, who is going to talk about the ITC's ISO 19650 journey. I would like to congratulate Madhu and the ITC team for getting ISO 19650 BSI kite mark certification on project level. ITC Green Center Phase 2 is the first project in India to get ISO 19650 certification. And Desapex is really happy to be part of this great achievement. So we welcome you, Madhu, for this webinar. Can you please introduce yourself to the audience?
So I'm Madhu. I'm part of Central Projects Organization, which is ITC's project arm. I'm the project manager of ITC Green Center project, and yeah, so that is I've been in this industry for the last 17 years, handling various asset classes and through various built environment. So that is my introduction.
Thanks for that, Madhu. So before going to the ISO 19650 journey, I would like to introduce my company, and then we can kickstart our session. Desapex is a digital engineering company working towards digital technology integration in the AEC industry to improve design, construction, and facility management practices of built environment. So we provide service throughout the life cycle of the built asset. That's during design stage, construction stage, operation and maintenance stage, and renovation stage. So I'll talk about what all services that we provide in each of these stages in coming slides. So our mission when it comes to what we are actually aiming at is to enable the digital adoption and integration of technology for target value design. And we believe that when we achieve this mission, we'll be able to achieve our long-term vision of sustainable built environment. We are based out in Bangalore, and we have our European branch in Stockholm, where we serve our European clients. And we have delivered projects around the globe. So ISO 19650, so this is something that we stand out of crowd, and also that proudly we would say that we are the first company in the world and only company in India to have BSI kite mark on an organizational level for ISO 19650 Part 1 and Part 2. For those of you who are not aware of ISO 19650, I'll just give a glimpse of what is that. ISO 19650 is an international standard for managing information over the whole life cycle of the built asset using building information modeling. So in this, there are many parts that are coming up. So Part 1 and Part 2 basically speaks about the concepts and principles and the delivery phase of the asset. And this is a global standard for BIM as of now. The customer segments we deal, so we have been doing projects on corporate real estate, hotels. We've worked on airports, data centers. Majority are works that are going into data centers are out of country. We've been doing a lot of work in Sweden, Ireland, and Finland. And we've worked on logistic and warehouse, factory buildings, retail, and infrastructure. So this is our young and dynamic team. So since we are into technology and which is actually growing, so we have a young team of who is capable of delivering interesting projects using the digital technologies. So we have architects, MEP engineers, civil engineers, and we have people from actual software development team as well, who is working on some of the specific design or digital construction tools. And least but not, the last but not, but they are the very core of our team. Sales, we have a good sales and business development team as well. So this is our team. So coming to our services, we basically have three verticals. We put down our services into three verticals. That's digital design management, digital project management, and digital asset management. Under digital design management, we do take the design and develop those design by developing the archi structure, mechanical MEPF, modeling, perform clash detection and coordination services, BIM-based pre-construction services. I'll talk about them in detail in coming slides. And digital project management is where we set up the entire framework, delivery plans as per ISO 19650, set up digital labs on sites or even their client locations. When it comes to digital asset management, so this very a growing technology of scan to BIM, develop 3D models from scanning, energy and maintenance management, and asset management. So I'll for under each. So when I talk about digital design management, so the inputs that we would be taking, like say 2D drawings or any non-geometrical information, GA drawings, and then develop a 3D model. So once you have the 3D model, there are various other use cases that you could perform with the help of the 3D model. First thing, you resolve the clashes and make sure that all the models, all the disciplines are coordinated, and then have the clash-free models where you can extract the drawings for the execution. And then quantity takeoff for accurate cost estimate. When you perform all the clashes, you reduce all the rework that's going to happen, and also give you the accurate quantities. And the provide shop drawings for execution, and 4D 5D simulations where you can run your design models and see the virtual construction through in line with the time. When it comes to the digital project management, so this is where our webinar session is going to play a lot of discussion, where we will be part of the project from the briefing stage, help the client in develop the exchange information requirements, BIM execution plans, what are the BIM use cases or the things that are targeting in that particular project, and develop all other information, data drops at each stage of the construction. And when it comes to design, help them in model auditing, clash detection and coordination, and also work on their post, contract BIM execution plans. During construction, help them in progress monitoring, by using laser scanning or training capability building or supply chain assessment. The most operation help the clients to get the as-built, the models are developed, executed, but there would be a lot of changes that would have gone during the construction phase, that's where we bring in the laser scanners to get the as-built done, and hand over the BIM model by adding all the non-geometrical information to because the next phase is very important, the operation and maintenance. So hand over the model with full enriched model to the FM integration. And then coming to digital asset management. So this is where you have the laser or reality capture technology. Use the laser scanners to actually capture the entire physical building. And with the help of the output that we get a point cloud data, you develop a 3D model out of this point cloud data, and add in all the non-geometrical information or link it to your BMS or IoT sensors. And then your digital twin is ready, and the digital twin will be taken for operation and maintenance, for asset management, energy management, building analytics, other maintenance activities. So that is about digital asset management. So the partnership, so we even have a platform which can perform the entire facility management activities, where we are partnered with a company called Grenland, which is a Finland-based Finnish company. It's been in market for last 40-50 years, and we provide using this platform for the also provide maintenance management, energy maintenance, asset management, and other maintenance activities using this FM tool. So there's again construction progress monitoring. So this is a unique solution that we have again started using. So you already have a 3D model and the project schedule, and we run and see the virtual construction. and also bring back the actual work that is being done on site using the reality capture technology. So you are actually bringing the actual data back into your progress monitoring, and also update your models parallelly with the progress. You also update the as-builds. So our approach, so we have developed a team, capable of integrating design and construction parameters into a design information model, which blends the expertise in domain, tool, and process. So all these three needs to be taken care of when it comes to a process. That's what we believe in, and that's our approach. So that's about company, and so we would jump on to our main session of ISO 19650, ITC's ISO 19650 journey. So I would like to ask Madhu to please explain about the project which they have been certified in ISO 19650 from BSI Catmark.
Certainly, Dinesh. I just need to share my screen. One second. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, yeah, it's visible.
Okay. And it was in full screen, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. As I said, I'm Madhu. I'm from CPO, Central Projects Organization, ITC's project arm. I'm here to kind of, I'm, and I'll tell you something about the project, but before we kind of go ahead, we would be discussing about leveraging ISO 19650, but we would be kind of, talking mostly about digital transformation and how a cultural revolution is what we have brought in with this project, and how CPO is doing digital transformation going forward. So these are the few things that we'll touch upon. That being said, there is no need for introduction of ITC. We are a 100-year-old company. We are one of the largest FMCG companies in India. And yes, I mean, we've been we have a huge thrust towards sustainability. We've been solid waste positive. We've been water positive and energy. We work with a lot of renewable energy, and a lot of 38 projects of ours is platinum rated. And so we are big on sustainability and digitalization as well. And talking sorry for that. Talking about CPO. Talking about CPO, CPO was as I said, was a project arm of ITC. It was something that was founded in 2007. The major reason for kind of starting CPO was to let businesses do business, so that they can expand into new territories and not worry about project management needs of any built asset that the company is trying to build. And these are few statistics that we have. We have finished 75 plus projects, which that amount to close to 16 million square feet of internal projects. And also we have a myriad of asset classes that we work in. We build anything from a commercial building to residential building, factories, warehouses, and whatnot. So there's something about CPO. Coming specifically to the project, which we have in Bangalore, it is called ITC Green Center Phase 2 Building 3, which is basically a commercial building of 1 million square feet. So the video that you see in the side is where the master plan of our 100-year-old campus in Bangalore. We've already finished the building 1 and 2, and building 3, which is in green, is something that we're doing as of now. We do have capacities to build 3 more commercial buildings and a hotel in this campus, and this is our master plan for the entire campus in Bangalore. That being said, this building is targeting, it is already platinum pre-certified, LEED platinum pre-certified, and we are also targeting wellness platinum certification for this building. So this is something which is other than the kite certification that we have already received, that we are targeting, and which we have. So yeah, so that is a brief introduction, Dinesh, about the project and what.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Actually, ITC Green Center Phase 2 Building 3 is going to be first of most of the things. So Glad to hear that. So, Madhu, I have another, like, say, according to you, what is the greatest challenge that the Indian construction industry is facing today? If-
So, so if when you look at a construction project, what do you see? You see that it is, it is a delicate balance of resource. You have multi-phased endeavors. You have web of interdependent tasks. It's a constantly evolving puzzle, and it is something that is in a complex ecosystem of material equipment. So that being said, the major reason for delay in construction projects is basically because of lack of predictability in the construction industry. And believe it or not, the construction industry is one of the least digitalized industry in the world. They say that less than 1% of the construction companies have implemented digital collaboration tools, and less than 5% have adopted digital workflows. That being said, the predictability is the biggest problem. Uh, Also, if you look at uh, according to one of the KPMG reports, which is specifically about India, they said that enhancing planning rigor and implementing integrated project and information system are crucial steps. However, the recognition of technologies like BIM adoption rates remain surprisingly low. If you look at even 84% of the companies feel that BIM is an important transformation, but only 27% of them have been able to implement it. Uh, why is this? Basically, because BIM is a collaborative process and requires an efficient information management system and also a common data environment which can kind of handle that information system. So this becomes very important. This is the biggest hurdle that most of the companies face when they're kind of trying to implement BIM. Also, uh, lack of predictability leads to directly or indirectly to a plethora of industry problems. Some of them are written here, like budget overruns, availability of labor force, rework due to mistakes, inadequate project planning, communication breakdown, whatever. So all these things. And what we believe today is, if you bring predictability in time, cost, and quality, most of these problems are bucketed and they get solved. So I believe that this is the biggest challenge in the construction industry in India as of now, that predictable outcomes is something that we have to target. If that answers your question.
Yeah, yeah. That's say you spoke about, yeah, the predictability and slow adoption to the digital, because a lot of other industries are way forward in terms of digital implementation, but construction industry is slow for change always. So, and also you spoke about the standardization, which is important, and adoption of the BIM is also going at a slow rate here in India. So yeah, that answers my question. So going forward, what are the key factors that motivated ITC, to adopt ISO 19650 standards?
So before we get into ISO 19650, we need to understand that digital transformation is what was targeted by ITC. ISO 19650 came as a subset of it. So basically, we were quick to start on our digitalization journey way back in 2019, where we coined the catchphrase called connected projects. And we identified 5 focus areas, which is shown in this digital pentagon that we call. And the intent was to bring positive impact in these areas and to reduce delays and disruptions and boost operational efficiency. So CPO found focus groups and we piloted various solutions in different areas to see what can be implemented and how it needs to be implemented and the process of implementation and things like that. Also, one thing that we realized during this process is BIM is a fundamental transformation that we need to make. Because you only when you do that, you can deliver things like 4D and 5D, where you have visual schedules, you have visual cost data, and ultimately it will culminate in something like a digital twin for asset management and stuff like that. So this is very clear for us from the strategy from the day one. Uh, we also looked at what uh, project management team's wish list was. I mean, the digital wish list, so to say. And we came up with some imperatives. These were certain major imperatives that we saw, which was commonly running from all the statistical questions that we asked people and tried to find out what they need. Uh, the point was, we had to implement all these areas and we had to implement digitalization in all these areas before we could even target 4D and 5D. So this was something that we needed to do. We also kind of asked our site teams, the people who are actually getting the work executed on ground, to tell what their digital wish list was. And they said few things, and I put in few important things that they spoke about. And we tried to kind of see is, how do we bring in a platform which can help us with this collaboration? How do we make that last person's life easier? So what do we get out of it finally? We get more time to do things that matter, like uh, look at alternate construction methodology, and also look at sustainability and all those things. So digital transformation was a very important uh, uh, revolution, to be exact, something that we needed to do in CPU. And that being said, there were a lot of drivers. Like every engineer who works in a construction project ends up asking the same question: why is all the needles in the haystack? Why am I not able to find a document that uh, I want to find? And more so often they're asking that question to themselves, and most often it is attributable to how the data is archived in the first place, and so hence there is a retrieval challenge. That being said, we looked at a project that we did in Bangalore. The phase before, we had a total project cost of 90 million USD. In that, a package of 37 million had 16,000 checklists, 388 RFIs, and 60 meetings. And over that, we had an extra claim of 5 million. Now, you're talking about another added 140 contractual communication, 30,000 plus emails, and 654 project reports. Now, we realized that we were spending 20% of our time looking for documents because there was a claim, and I'm sure we have lost countless tracking deliverables, which we could have done very easily if the processes were kind of digitalized. So this was one driver. So that is something, Dinesh. Yeah. So this is
Yeah.
why the driver was there to solve the retrieval challenge.
Yeah, that's actually those are factors. You spoke about the digital pentagon that you started way back in 2019. So where you had a vision like what you need to know as an output. For that, there are a lot of other steps to start with. And I really like the thing that you put up, the BIM foundation transformation. So foundational transformation. And also it's very important to take the feedback from your design teams or the site teams, actually what they need for a betterment of the project. uh, and the very important thing that you mentioned is of looking for the documents. So if you're not finding or you're spending a lot of time for finding the documents that you need, uh, because and also there's a lot of data loss that goes on to these if you're not having the proper common data environment or maintaining these project data in an archive and all those things. So yeah, going to our next question. So how did Desapex support ITC through this entire adoption process of ISO 19650 and things?
Okay, so we believe that the process improvement, including new ideas to solve industry issues, are hard to come by from people within the same company. And this is why it is very important to seek different perspectives. It is very crucial to seek different perspectives and different way of thinking. And that is where a company like Desapex would come in. Uh, Desapex possesses a very desirable quality of an extensive experience of working on a wide range of companies, and I think this experience uh, brings a wealth of knowledge which they're bringing, and this helps you to prevent from needlessly reinventing the wheel when you're trying to make a digital transformation, because they would have worked with some company and they would know that. So this was the biggest driver for ITC to kind of get Desapex on the bandwagon, to kind of bring different perspective, so that that knowledge is shared, and it helps the entire industry, and we are not reinventing them, so to say.
Yeah, thanks for those words. And yeah, so from way back in 2019, we've been awarded with this certificate on our organizational level. Every year, we keep auditing our projects and getting reassured of this certificate. But when we collaborated with ITC in this particular project, See, it's a lot of learning for us as well in this entire process, where we got to know a lot of the construction problems that are there and how things have to be, because we did a lot of workshops. It was like, together learning, and at the end, it was very successful, and also project was certified with BSI Kite Mark. So we're very proud and happy to be part of this project, and again, congratulate ITC for the certification. Uh, can you can you walk us through the specific steps ITC took to implement ISO 19650? So where did you
Okay,
start actually? Yeah.
so to start with this, I would like to put up a slide which is kind of a general mantra that we have followed when it becomes when we talk about digital transformation. Basically, every company which is looking for digital transformation is looking at improving their digital maturity, right? So when you look at digital maturity, how do you kind of improve your digital maturity? You probably kind of implement a platform and look at discipline and standardization to kind of increase the maturity. But the point is, those two are not just enough. I mean, you have to look at a cultural evolution. You have to look at a cultural change, because there are a lot of factors that kind of restrict you from kind of implementing a lot of digital transformation and to kind of improve your digital maturity. So this is something that we follow. We always look at three-pronged approach. We say that improve digital maturity, look at discipline and standardization, and to kind of have what is that we need to do to achieve this, to bring in that cultural change, and how do we kind of constantly evolve ourselves without getting kind of fixated with something that can be changed and will not affect our business. That being said, when we started this journey out, initially it was about BIM, and we felt that there are basically two hurdles. One was the human factor, the other, and rest we said other hurdles. The human factor was something that you could easily solve by increasing awareness and upskilling, but the other hurdles like data management, standards and interoperability, and cost was something which cannot be solved without kind of having a process in place. So how did we kind of do this? So we realized that a foundation for a reliable and collaborative space is to establish and implement a common data environment. Now this common data environment serves as a single source of truth, and it effectively resolves issues of data retrieval. So additionally, you could kind of add your quality checklist, so you utilize the cloud to do design management. So these strengthen the backbone of information management. So this is where you could have checklists which are geotagged. You could have BIM on cloud. You could have real-time clash resolution. So these things become the base where the standards like ISO 19650 comes in, and this ensures that the process adhering to ISO 19650 ensures that your process is executed correctly. So this is something that we started off with, and this we would attribute our getting the kite certification to this thing, where we understood that having a very important factor for anybody to kind of achieve a kite certification or a compliance to ISO 19650 without talking about certification is about having a very robust information management system. It is only then that you could kind of add something like 3D for geometry, which will take care of your material specification. You talk about 4D for time, where you have visual schedules and virtual construction. Then you talk about 5D for visual cost data. Now, this is something that needs to be done to kind of handle the other hurdles. And whilst we were doing this to kind of solve our our information management challenge, to understand what comes first and what comes second, we started on our journey of implementing a common data environment. Now, to give you a very oversimplified reason for common data environment is basically initially we used Windows folder. So this is something that I put a snapshot of how our Windows folder was. There were folder inside folder, and this is quite complex. And you had a lot of written down rules by which you should put a certain file in a certain folder. Now, if you look at those three things that are written at the bottom, they were basically file names. So what we did in the Windows folder, because we didn't have auto versioning,
we wrote the date backwards, and we wrote whatever the name of the file was. Now, these three files are written by three different stakeholders, but they are the same files. So this actually happened in a project, and if you type report, you will not get one. If you write monthly, you will not get one. So the point was that the written down SOPs were always a problem because it would fail because it's person driven, and you'll always have a retrieval challenge when this happened. So what we thought first was, can we have can we can we have a naming convention by which the name indicates exactly what the file is about? uh, can you know the file name beforehand, before you even search for the file? Can you know the file name? Can you enforce the naming convention on the folders? What I mean by that is, can we kind of put a syntax in such a way that if somebody tries to upload a wrong file, it will not allow him to do it, and then have one folder for all. This is something which is very important for everybody. We didn't want folder inside folder. We wanted one folder which can house everything, and we are able to retrieve whatever file we want at will. We did implement a naming convention system, which was kind of recommended by ISO 19650 at the end of the day. And we kind of modified it in such a way that it works for the Indian scenario. And that is something that has been working successfully till today. And we also, because of the platform that we use, we are able to kind of enforce the naming convention on the folder, so that if people try to kind of, put in a file which is a wrong name, it will not take, it will quarantine the file. Also today, we have basically three folders. We have work in progress, shared, and published, and this is one folder for all. So this is something that we started off with. Also, because common data environment was there, because of the platform that we use, this is how we used to review 2Ds, the file that is running on the top. And this is how all the stakeholders are reviewing drawings today, or BIM models today. They're able to look at properties, they're able to zoom in, they're able to cut sections. And this has got nothing, they need not have any specialized softwares in their system. This is all on the URL on your Internet Explorer or your Chrome. And they're able to kind of do these things and look at drawings. And this has brought in a lot of understanding of design, and to kind of reduce rework, and to bring that thing that we were talking initially, right, about predictability, to kind of bring in predictability in design, predictability in what you understand and what you don't understand. So this is something which I feel was the biggest driver for us. So that's about it.
Those are wonderful steps. So I would touch base on few. So you spoke about the digital maturity and standardization, and the most important thing is the cultural change, which I've been hearing everywhere. And also it's very important to have a single point of truth. So that's where we talk about the collaboration and common data environment. So again, you spoke about the platforms that are available now, like SEC, where you can enforce the naming convention and have some specific permissions, access to be given, how information has to be shared. So we have folders like work in progress, shared and published, how each file has to be transferred from each folder to each, and also through the workflow mechanisms that we have implemented here, where it moves from share to publish. So it's very organized, and the standardization way which needs to be implemented in a lot of the projects. And also I would like to mention about the naming convention that we have had a lot of workshops on getting, because we cannot, like you said, we cannot have the name for everything, but we also had put on all the things that are going to come in an Excel. And also later on, when we worked on TIDP, where we have to put down all the file names. So if I have 10 deliverables, I have to put down the file naming for 10 deliverables. Say if architect team is having have to submit 120 or 150 drawings, so they will have the naming for all those 150. So that was very important to have the TIDP, where ITC was tracking those TIDPs. It was very I think it helped a lot in that aspect. So and then the next thing is, this is very common and the challenging part. How did you address the training and upskilling of the workforce? Because this is very new. A lot of things that we're talking is all new, and like we've been talking, there is always a resistance to change, or there is always the very slow to the change. So how did you, achieve this, or how did you address this particular training and upskilling of the workforce?
So for us, I think it was training with an iron hand. We said if you don't get trained, we said that 10 hours training is mandatory. We gave only full licenses because ITC as a client, we gave all the common data environment licenses to every stakeholder who worked in our project. So because of that, what happened is we told them that we'll only give you full licenses once you submit all your certificates. And this was something that we meticulously follow today also. If somebody new joins and they need a license, we ask them to finish the 10-hour training and submit. Until then, they're given trial licenses. So yes, I mean, this is something that we did. We kind of trained the people with an iron hand. We said that, you have to get your mandatory training done. But there are things that we need to work around. Like say, for example, we have to cognize the fact that, tools are constantly evolving. So you have to understand that, you cannot expect everybody to get trained every time the tools evolve, and there are challenges around it. So this is something that we understood. So we said that only first 10 hours you get trained. I think I am seeing a lot of people after the 10 hours, people who had a little bit of resistance, they are doing it on their own. They are getting trained on their own. They're not asking anybody to kind of tell them to mandatorily train them and stuff like that. So they are finding material online and they're learning. So this is something, it is about putting somebody on that learning journey. And I think your general, psychology takes over, and you will kind of constantly learn because you start getting into the habit. There are few people who will be there. I mean, who are resistant to change and who are resistant to training, and their over communication is inevitable because they will have outlandish expectations. There are places where we have gone and sat down and trained people, even though video training was available, there were many places where we had to kind of over communicate and because we wanted the digital transformation to happen, we had to do it. We couldn't sit at our pedestal and say that we will not train you. So we had to do it. And the other aspect is to find the right subject matter expert. Because things are constantly evolving, you need a SME to help you with the journey. And until you kind of learn how to do things, this becomes very important. This is where companies like Desapex comes in, and they kind of handhold you because of the knowledge and the experience that they have. That being said, sometimes the platforms don't solve all your problems because your requirements may not be the need of the majority. And the most important thing is everybody should understand this. And just because the platform doesn't give you something that you need, some few things that it doesn't need, if it solves most of your problems, I think you should go ahead and try to find a workaround. And probably because it doesn't commensurate with the world standard also, then you have to go look at what is the world standard. Am I asking for something which is outlined? Also powerful when everybody has license. So it is always necessary that if you are buying a CD or you're buying a platform, to look at license dealing and to kind of negotiate it well so that you have license for everybody. And information transfer from a licensed candidate to an unlicensed candidate is very complex. So everybody should try staying out of it. And also, you have to cognize that speed and connectivity challenges are going to be there. You cannot wish it away. You should have contingencies built in to ensure that these challenges are kind of handled when you kind of get into the digital transformation zone. Yeah, so that's what we did when it comes to training.
Thanks for bringing that word of subject matter expertise. In terms of tools, already there are videos to be go through the course or anything. But when it comes to ISO 19650, it took a lot of workshops for us to explain all the stakeholders on what ISO 19650 is, what are we going to achieve, what are the documents like exchange information requirements, what is BIM execution plan, what is pre and post BIM execution plans, what is TADP, what is common data environment, how are we going to enforce these to the folders? Because at the end, stakeholders on the other vendors or the contractors are the ones who is going to use this entire thing. So it was a great journey for us to also have multiple workshops with all of these to make them understand. So once they realize the full potential of things, so yeah, it was I think most of, so for all the audience who are thinking something this is new and very difficult or anything, no, it's not that difficult. You just have to have the right process and right way to do the things. So that's about it. Um, how has the adoption of ISO 19650 standards enhanced the project outcomes when it comes to your project outcomes?
Yeah, so I will answer this question a little differently. I will answer this by not only talking about ISO 19650 again, talking about digital transformation again.
Yeah, digital
So
transformation.
first of all, our collaboration is not paper bound anymore. Our daily average A4 size paper print is somewhere around 5 in our project, and we don't have a plotter in our project. We don't print drawings. We usually give out digital GFCs. I've just put a video of how digital GFCs are issued, and we hardly print anything nowadays. And our transmittals are sent through the platform, and we are able to kind of have a lot of governance pieces put in place, like signature of the project manager, and to kind of ensure that it is a controlled copy, and people, when they print the drawing, they print it with the signature. So you can see there is a signature there, which kind of puts that perspective of governance in place. And what we are seeing is, because of this data democracy and because people are able to access drawings on the go, initially what used to happen is, when we used to do a paper bound collaboration, the site team or anybody who's at site has to come back to office to actually open up reference drawings, because it is practically impossible for him to carry all the drawings to site. So today what we have noticed is that the information is at their fingertips, and they're able to kind of look at these things and take well-informed decisions and take decisions on time. So so this is something that we feel is a big plus when it comes to the implementation of digitalization. The projects that we did, photographs become very important because you need to retrieve data from the past, and we were never able to kind of get it, because photographs, it's very difficult to kind of have a naming convention for each photograph to understand what it is. This is where tagging of photographs became important. Today, if you look at it, our project has not even come out of the basement. We already have 43,000 photographs registered, tagged photographs, and 25,000 of them in that is tagged to some form, and we have checklists of more than 8,862. Now, look at all the analytics that you can get from this. Look at all the past data retrieval issues that it solves, the kind of data mining that you can do with this. So this is something which is a big driver. To kind of collaboration becomes a big driver. The other thing is increasing accountability. Today we don't use emails. So just to show you that how we communicate is through issues, and we only use emails for hi and hello, and we use issues as a module, and to put it specifically for a area. The yellow ones are the issues which are open, the gray ones are the issues that are closed. It is specifically pointed to a person. You can have chats on it, and try and kind of look at look at many ways of accountability to kind of make sure that these issues are closed. There is a lot of traceability that it brings in, and it solves a plethora of issues. That is the whole point, to have the BIM on cloud, to use issues as a module. And we have in the project as of now, because initially we said, right, less than 5% companies have implemented digital workflows, and we have implemented digital workflows in our project, and that is one of the nicest asks when it comes to ISO 19650. And if you look at it, we have 1,233 reviews that we have gone through, and we have closed 746. Now, this also brings in a lot of accountability. There is nothing that somebody has to pick an email and send it to people. It is all kind of set. A certain stakeholder just puts in a file, and it just goes through all the stakeholders, and he gets the comments that he needs, or it gets approved, or it gets rejected, and all those things. So these are some things that we're doing today. So the major question would be savings through digitalization. This is something that everybody wants to hear. The big question, the ROI question. And our project is at the basement stage, and we believe that from calculation, we believe that we have saved almost 0.9% of the project budget as of now, standing today.
And that in that 0.9%, whatever the value is, we have only spent 40% for digitalization. So this gives you the entire gist. In that, 67% was for building information modeling, 4% for others, licenses 24%, and some 40 tools was like 5%. So this is how much we have spent. So what I'm trying to tell you is what we have saved. We have spent much less than what we have saved as of now. Going forward, it is only a bonus. So this is something that is very important, and this is this is one of the biggest drivers.
Yeah, thanks for answering. Because wherever we go with the consulting for these services, everybody, or even building information modeling, everybody talks about ROI. What am I getting in return? I think Madhu has answered that with 200%, with facts, with proof, everything. So for all the audience who are seeing, or maybe people who would be seeing on YouTube, LinkedIn, everywhere, so you have the answer here. So, and also very interesting. Project outcomes that Madhu has pointed out. So no paper drawings, and also the common data environment helps us, for the people to have always be on the latest drawing. So there's always this, whether are you working on a latest revision or not. So those kind of issues are all completely, out of the, the scope. And also digital GFCs, like he was talking. So this so much that gives us when you put a lot of these things together. And thanks for answering that question. And what are the ITC's future plans regarding the, the development in digital construction and information management?
Yeah, so I'm fortunate to be in an organization like ITC where our strategies are quite sorted. We have ensured that whatever we do, our strategies are in place. I mean, before we even started on this journey, the strategy was there. So this is our 5-year plan, so to say, to kind of, so we have different steps when it comes to a strategy. We have ideation, proof of concept. We implement it in one project to pilot it, then we implement it in few projects. So it is baby steps. It is few steps at a time, so that we can always fall back and not kind of make it a company-wide implementation, and then finally it is difficult for you to roll back. So we go through these steps of any digital. So today, if you see, we have BIM as a standard for our CPO today. We have scan to BIM and modular asset is something that we are trying to kind of make it a standard. ISO 19650, obviously, for Green Center, we have already achieved the kite certification. We are looking at this year how to kind of implement it for rest of the project, and schedule on cloud is something that we already do. But there are other things that we're working on. We're working on 4D, 5D, we're working on digital procurement, cost management, we're looking at augmented reality, virtual reality. We're also working on things like DFM, which is designed for manufacturing and assembly, and we are doing some things in Green Center for it. We're looking at AI tools for project, we're looking at 3D printing. So this is how things are evolving for us, and this is our landscape going forward. Taking you back to the digital pentagon, which is our backbone today. We don't kind of deviate from that strategy, and we are ensuring that whatever we do fits into this digital pentagon. This year we have made a small change in the digital pentagon. We have kind of brought the documentation management as the center of everything, so everything has to feed into it. And this is our landscape image. This is how we are looking at everything in the future. We are looking at just to bring out my pointer so that I can explain. So looking at as-built data, getting into scan to BIM, and to use those as a parameterized modular assets to bring down our design time when it comes to BIM. To kind of look at BIM automatically getting into a digital procurement platform where you can use it for RFP, RFQ, and to kind of go through the entire procurement process to kind of leverage this entire thing, the spend analytics which comes from the digital procurement, and the quantities that you get out of BIM, and to kind of leverage it to do cost management, to look at schedules and stuff like that. So this is a landscape that we're looking at, and this is our plan for the future, to kind of digitalize the entire digital pentagons, so to say. And as of now, we have kind of completely digitalized this piece, and we are working on this piece, and we have done few things in that. When it comes to the project management piece, we are also looking at 4D, 5D, that is virtual construction. A small video on that. Here again, we and Desapex are collaborating together to kind of work on how virtual construction can be leveraged. And this is something that we're doing. And if you look at the right, there is a time-lapse camera which is managed by our team, and they run that and kind of look at how do you say, look at what is happening at site and what happens actually, and to look at alternate paths and ways. So this is how the building is going to progress in the future. And this is something that is done on a consultant model. There's not something, our construction models are not completely ready when it comes to MEP and stuff like that. We have the structure model in place, and we are able to kind of run such simulations and to look at visual schedules. So the process is when you look at this, and when site supervisors and people who are at site, when they kind of contribute to something like this, they usually adhere to the schedule, and they don't because it is photographically embedded in their minds, they hardly deviate from it. And this is freed up a lot of mental space for them, and they're able to innovate and do things which has never been done in the industry. So this is something that we are very happy about, and this is a small video of how our building is progressing in the future, and how we are able to kind of look at it visually. So this is something that we've already achieved when it comes to 4D and visual construction.
Yeah.
Also, the plan in the future is to go step by step to do 3D, 4D, 5D, 6D, because sustainability is a very important aspect for ITC today. We are looking at how do we kind of bring in and parameterize the sustainability aspect to look at. We're also doing life cycle analysis for our project, and we're looking at how to kind of actually capture the GHG emission, and also look at how alternate construction methodology can bring down our GHG emission. And also finally to look at 7D, which is digital twin, to look at how the static and the dynamic data can be overlaid with a BIM model. So this is something that we are trying to do.
Yeah.
But the constant endeavor for us today is, when you look at the effort and the time graph for any project, our constant endeavor is to do this. We want to shift the effort frontwards, we want to reduce the effort, and we want to ensure that the distinction between stages become blurry. This is something that we're trying to do very constantly. I mean, this is what we are looking in the future.
Yeah. Thanks, Madhu. I think we're running out of time. I would skip my last question, but I'll take maybe one question from the attendees because there are a lot of questions. We will reply to your questions via mail. So there's one particular question, okay, which tool is used for 4D, and what is the process and all that. So that's very interesting. We spoke a lot about ISO 19650, but we find a question on 4D as well. But yeah, there are a few questions on ISO, but Madhu, you wanted to take that, or?
No, you can take that. I mean, I'm sure you know which platform it is. So yeah, you can
so yeah, we are using Synchro 4D Pro, and it's a great journey. We have started with design models, because 4D has been done in two phases. But with the design model, you have a schedule and you run and see the virtual construction. And then when contractor is on board, you break the models even more into detail based on the work breakdown structure that contractor is going to execute. So it's not just one-time activity. You just link and then run the simulation and then show it in your presentations or put it in videos or anything. It's a continuous process throughout your construction journey. That's how, and we have learned a lot in terms of organizing and in getting in right process in place. That's what 4D. And maybe one quick question on ISO 19650 as well. Considering ITC's and Desapex comprehensive journey towards adopting ISO 19650 standards, could you elaborate on the specific challenges you faced during the initial implementation phase? I think Madhu has answered that question, because you want to take up this?
I reiterate, the point is not to look at ISO 19650 standalone. Look at it from a digital transformation standpoint, and that becomes important. And yes, all the challenges that you would have as part of a digital transformation, you would have. And that is something that I spoke about, how do you train, how do you kind of bring in cultural change, and how do you kind of expect some of the things which are unexpected, like over communicating, how do you kind of handle difficult stakeholders and all these things. So these become important.
Yeah. So thanks for that. And also I would like to add to that, see, there are certain things which tool may not be able to deliver. I think a lot of things that we worked on, there were a lot of suggestions that has been given from ITC to the tool that this is how it's going to work here in Indian construction context. So there were a few changes made by the tool as well. And also, you cannot be very rigid. Okay, I wanted to go this way, and this is what I've been doing. I think even in that matter, ITC have changed, work around few things, how to get reviews done, and maybe comments. There are a lot of things that has gone into this common data environment, naming convention, because there should be acceptable, we should not be very rigid to, okay, this is what we have been following, or this we want to go this way. So there are things that you need to work around to meet the requirements. So that I would add that. And I would like to thank Madhu for his time and joining this webinar. I think it was a great knowledge sharing basically. So we would be uploading this in YouTube and also in our website, and also we will be sharing the recorded session to all the registered persons. And if you have any questions, please free to reach out to us, and we would try to help, or anybody is looking for any of these services that I've given on my company presentation. We would love to collaborate and do a great work. Thanks, Madhu, for your time, and
Thanks, Dinesh. Thanks to Desapex. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks everyone. Thanks everyone
Thank
for
you.
this session. Yeah. Thank you.